Click, click, click. Everyone has a smartphone with a camera nowadays. This gives them a chance to capture the most amazing, uncensored events at the touch of a screen. With Snapchat and TikTok, social media has taken over our lives, and the content out there waiting for us to watch is a lot, and some of it is brilliant. There's also a whole section full of copycats. Here's a list of the 10 most incredible events you've got to see to believe. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more amazing content. Let's begin. Number 10. The Sailing Stones. Death Valley National Park is a strange place known for being the hottest place on Earth. Would you like to visit? Or does the name spook you out? Situated in the driest and lowest elevation in North America between California and Nevada, its strangest feature of all is the mysterious racetrack where rocks drift across the flat desert landscape, seemingly propelled by no power other than their own, known as sailing stones. The rocks vary in size from a few ounces to hundreds of pounds, though no one has ever seen them actually move in person. The trails left behind the stones and periodic changes in a location make it clear that they are in fact sliding across the play. In 2014, researchers captured the movement of the stones for the first time using time-lapse. The sailing stones are because of a perfect balance of ice, water, and wind, leaving behind trails as long as 1,500 feet. Number 9. The Flowering Atacama Desert. Following intense and unexpected rainfall in the north of Chile, parts of the usually arid Atacama Desert have turned into carpets of beautiful, vibrant flowers. The flowering desert usually occurs every 5 to 7 years when rains cause buried seeds to grow into flowers. More than 200 species of plants have been found to grow in the area. Not only are flowers born in the flowering desert, but a rich fauna grows around it. Lizards, reptiles, birds and animals share the environment, since many of the species that bloom at the Atacama Desert phenomenon do not grow anywhere else on the planet. Its preservation is fundamental. There are established tracks to walk on, and cutting flowers is prohibited. The government officially protects it to ensure that future generations may enjoy this beautiful Atacama spectacle. This draws visitors and botanists from Chile and around the world. Number 8. The Gloucester Cheese Race. Get set, ready, go! Yep, you heard that right. This kooky contest takes place on Cooper's Hill in Gloucester, England, and people have come from all over the world to take part. Quite the unusual sport. There's even a pub nearby named after the event called the Cheese Rollers. It starts like this. The masters of the ceremony kick off the event by shouting 1 to be ready, 2 to be steady, 3 to prepare, and at which point the cheese is released and it's off. Then there are the competitors. They launch themselves down the hill after the cheese, with the first person past the finish line crowned as the winner. Originally, the aim was to catch the cheese. However, its 1 second head start and how quickly it gains speed makes it pretty difficult and dangerous. Spectators have been injured by the roving cheese, but that never stopped them. Champion Chris Anderson has taken home 21 double Gloucester cheeses over the past 14 years. Anderson left the other contestants trailing in the dust as he sprinted, tripped and tumbled down Cooper's Hill in the village of Brochworth. Number 7. Frozen Fingers of Death. This is fascinating to watch, but do not be fooled by this incredible natural phenomenon as ethereal as the twisting ice spiral appears. It's incredibly dangerous. It looks like some kind of weird tornado, but it was actually captured under the sea. Dubbed the Ice Finger of Death, this rare nature event freezes and kills everything around it once it touches the sea floor. It sinks to the ocean floor while freezing the relatively fresh water it comes into contact with. Occasionally, a brine nickel may actually reach the sea floor, as recorded in this video. As it grows, it catches bottom-dwelling creatures around it, such as sea urchins and starfish. When it reaches the ground, it freezes everything in the surrounding area. Number 6. La Tomatina Lacto Medina. Is it tomato or tomato? This is an annual globally renowned Spanish festival where every year some 40,000 people descend on the tiny Valencia town of Borneo, which is in Spain, for one day to pelt each other with tomatoes. As the name suggests, tomatoes feature heavily during this day-long celebration as thousands take part in this massive tomato-fueled all-out food fight. La Tomatina can trace its roots back to the mid-1940s when the first public tomato food fight accidentally took place. The story goes that during a more somber street parade back in 1945, a street fight broke out when one rowdy local started to pelt everyone with vegetables from a nearby market stall. A group of young people retaliated and a huge food fight broke out. The following year, the same people picked up the fight on purpose and brought their own supply of tomatoes. The police broke up the new tradition for a few years. It was banned in the early 1950s. The popularity of the food fight lived on though, and the tradition was eventually brought back, and it continues to this day. The fight only lasts for 1 hour, but during that time, around 150,000 overripe tomatoes are splattered. That's approximately 40 metric tons of tomatoes. Wow. Number 5. Wife Carrying World Championship. This is fresh. The World Wife Carrying Championship. And yes, that is a thing that draws thousands of visitors to the small town and has gained followers across the world. The competition involves a large group of men who sling their wives or partners over their shoulders and set off on an hour-long race in the small Finnish town of Sonkajärvi. Thousands of fans cheer them on. The length of the official track is 277 yards. As there are 2 dry obstacles and a water obstacle, the minimum weight of the wife to be carried is 108 pounds. The wife to be carried may be your own, the neighbour's, or a friendly stranger. She must, however, be over 17 years of age. Also, the most entertaining couple, the best costume, and the strongest carrier will be awarded special prizes. Sign me up. The championship is also said to stem from an even earlier practice of wife stealing, leading many present-day contestants to compete with someone else's wife. Number 4. Christmas Island Crab Migration. Say what? Christmas crabs? Normally you don't think of crustaceans in Christmas time, but on Christmas Island, crabs are super special. Around 50 million red crabs are estimated to live on the island located in the Indian Ocean off the northwestern coast of Australia between October and December. At the beginning of the wet season, these animals start an incredible journey across the island, leaving homes in the inland portion to go to the seaside and lay their eggs. Female crabs have to drop their eggs into the water. The migration begins when crabs are sure that they can complete the journey, mate, and then root the eggs for 2 weeks before spawning. Once they've reached the seaside, crabs dip in the ocean to replenish body moisture and salts. Then males dig holes in the sand where the mating occurs, and after that they start their journey back. Females remain inside the burrows and brood the eggs for 2 weeks before dropping them into the water and leaving the beach to people on the island to do everything they can to avoid crabs' accidental death. So they build bridges and underground tunnels to allow them to cross streets safely during the peak of migration. Some roads are closed and traffic is diverted away from where you can actually see a red carpet moving on the road's surface. How's that for royalty? Number 3. The Black Sun. Sounds creepy, but to the contrary, it's quite incredible. Every year in spring and autumn, giant populations of starlings migrate from Norway, Sweden and Finland on their way to France, Britain, Belgium and the Netherlands. They create one of the most unique natural phenomena in Denmark. It's called the Black Sun, and it occurs in southwestern Denmark. The migration is from August until the end of October, and in spring from the middle of March to the middle of April, when the starlings make a stop and wait and see national parks, marshlands to rest and find food. The beautiful bird movement lasts about 20 minutes long during sunset and has taken its name due to the fact that during this time it feels like the sun disappears behind the hundreds of thousands of birds. The flocks perform movements that those who've seen the Black Sun up close compared to dancing. But really it's not the birds busting a move. The starlings move together and perform various formations in order to protect themselves from predators. So one of the best times to see the Black Sun is when the birds begin to land and spend the night. Number 2. The Nepali honey hunters. Bees play an important part in maintaining the world's ecosystem, and they produce delicious honey which creates jobs and feeds honey lovers around the globe. But you wouldn't believe the lengths people in Nepal will go to for this delicious commodity. Honey hunters make dangerous vertical climbs while enduring stings from enormous bees to harvest it, and it's not just regular honey. Besides being hallucinogenic, it's touted as relieving hypertension, providing a burst of energy, and being a sweet substitute for Viagra. It sells for $60 to $80 a pound. Honey hunters climb amazing heights, risking their lives to get it engulfed by the thick smoke. The honey hunter is found at the nest with a bamboo stick with a sickle or wooden play at one end, cutting the exposed honeycomb away from the cliff face, using another stick to guide the basket hanging beside him. He catches the honeycomb as it falls before the basket is then lowered to the ground. Another hunter watches from the base of the cliff as the cutter repositions himself on the rope ladder 200 feet above. Luckily, most of us can get honey locally and without bee stings. Number 1. The Catatumbo lightning. The phenomenon is known variously as the Beacon of Maracaibo, the Everlasting Storm, and it takes place in Venezuela where the Catatumbo River meets Lake Maracaibo. This is where Catatumbo lightning takes place. There's an average of 260 storms per year. A quarter of Venezuela's population lives in the highest concentration of lightning on Earth, 500 flashes per square mile per year. But the locals are totally used to it. Sailors have embraced this phenomenon for centuries, using the Catatumbo lightning as a beacon, kind of like a lighthouse. An Italian navigator used it to sail into Lake Maracaibo in 1949. He encountered a city of huts built on stilts. He called the floating city Venezuela, or Little Venice. Maracaibo supports 20,000 fishermen, and many live in palovetos, which are one-room tin shacks. Unfortunately, Catatumbo lightning strikes people 3 to 4 times more than in the United States. Most fishermen understand that the fish bite best at dusk when Catatumbo lightning brews, so they take their chances. Wow, what a list! Which of these events would you love to see with your own eyes? For me, it has to be the flowering Atacama Desert. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by clicking the like button. Do share, write a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch up my next video.